Hello, and welcome to part two of my Christmas themed speed build. This part will contain all of the decorating of the home. The first part, which I've included in a link below, is just the building of the house. I split it into two parts because this part alone sped up is 34 minutes. So if I combine that with the other half, which is about 25 minutes, then you'd have like an hour of the speed build, and nobody wants to sit here for an hour. Or, I mean, if you do, you can still watch them consecutively, but it's your choice rather than having it all in one video. With this home, I wanted to definitely make it like a family home, and I didn't want to make it too modern, but I also didn't want to make it completely traditional. So I tried to mesh the two styles together, and I think it turned out decently. I'm really happy with the way the living room and kitchen dining room flow worked out. Um, right now, I was doing the counters in the kitchen, and I didn't like the counters from Spa Day as the kitchen counters, so I switched them up to the really expensive ones, which I try not to use just because, I mean, they're really expensive. But this house didn't have a budget, so, I mean, it really doesn't matter if I used those or not. So I did use the expensive cabinets. I'm dying to get more cabinets with the stone tops in the game. The other wooden cabinets have like the tile, and then there's the modern cabinets which just have kind of like a formica top, it looks like. I don't know, it looks really fake, and unless you're really building like a modern kitchen, they tend not to look that great. So these are my favorite cabinets by far, but I try not to use them too much because they're really expensive, and I very rarely end up using them in my actual game when I'm playing. My current legacy, I'm on Generation 4, and that legacy family can afford to have these counters, so they do. But, yeah, I worked these into the kitchen, and um, I end up eventually moving the fridge, but at the current time in the build, it's on the half tile, and so that means the counters don't line up properly, so I use the move objects on to combine the counters, and these ones don't actually look too bad when you do that. But I did end up moving it just because I wanted to kind of build in the fridge a little bit, and so I end up putting like a wall next to the fridge and moving it over a half tile. I had a lot of fights with that oven. I really wanted to have like a hood over it, but it just didn't look good. And one of the things that I really wanted to have in this house was open sight lines into the living room and dining room, and having that hood there kind of blocked it. And I also didn't want to block the back windows, so I end up having no hood. But I tried. I tried. I also used a different table than I normally use, so I was pretty pleased with myself because, yeah, I'm really bad about using the same objects over and over again. I use those chairs constantly, but, um, you know, they worked, so, and they matched, which is huge in this game, to have matching objects. Um, I was playing around with the rugs that you can size up, and again, the rug without being sized up fit the best, which, yeah, I'm finding I think I adapted to not being able to size up rugs, and so now I kind of, maybe like I subtly build things without realizing it, that I'm building them to fit a certain rug, and yeah, the sized up rugs don't look good with it, even though I want to size them up. And then over here I was trying to build kind of like a break front with a table and just some cabinetry as like a serving piece where you could put food that you've made and lay it out on that table, and your guests sitting at the main dining table could get up and get it from that break front instead of having it clog up the middle of the table. Because I don't know about you guys, but during the holidays when my family cooks, there's always so much food, and we put it all on the table, and there's not enough room to have our actual plates that we're eating. So I built that break front back there, and I wanted to have a bar inside of the house, but that just wasn't working out, so I put that little drink tray from Spa Day in there. And then I was working in a little bit of Christmas decorations. I didn't want to go over the top in this house, and so the way I ended up doing the Christmas decorations in the home, I really liked it because I think it's a little bit understated. And I personally don't like really heavy displays of Christmas decorations. My great aunt, who is like my grandmother, she actually calls it ungapachki when someone does that, and that's a Yiddish term, ungapachki, for like it's too much. It's like gaudy. It's overdone. So yeah, she likes to call Christmas decorations ungapachki. She doesn't really like Christmas at all, and I don't know. I feel like that's a Jewish bias with her, but she does like to go to the movies on Christmas, and we're currently having an argument in my family over which movie we're gonna see. I want to see the Concussion movie, and my aunt wants to see the movie with Jennifer Lawrence, and my parents want to see Spotlight, which I also want to see because I'm a journalist. But yeah, anyway, you guys don't need to hear about our family arguments over Christmas movies. But yeah, so that's where I put in the wall and just kind of finished it off with a column to give it a more complete look. And it was around this point where I felt like the kitchen was really just starting to come together, and I really was beginning to like the look of the kitchen at this point. Which was very exciting for me because there was a point where I was worried it wasn't going to look good, and for me, building this house, it was the kitchen, dining room, living room area that I was most excited about because it was different from the way that I normally do kitchens and living rooms and dining rooms. So I just kind of wanted it to look nice, and I'm definitely happy with the way it turned out. Um, yeah, I've been having some weird issues with columns like doubling up for some reason, and so then I get parts of columns inside, because one of the cool features about this game is when you put a column in outside, it actually cuts it off, so you don't see it inside if you've done it correctly. So I had to fix that. And then I had a lot of issues with the placement of the sofas and TV area in this living room. I tried to do a built-in look with the bookcases, which I actually like the way it looks there, but I ended up moving it, and I think it's because there was going to be wasted space behind those couches. I wasn't really sure what I could put behind those, and it ends up being a little bit of wasted space anyway, but I did work in that bookshelf, and then I eventually put a chess table in there. So it's really not wasted space, but I felt like it would be when I had the TV above the fireplace. So I moved it, and I also had to fit a Christmas tree in, and I was thinking the whole time, like, I need to have space for the Christmas tree. So the Christmas tree does eventually go in, like, the corner, which works nicely. I had a lot of problems trying to decide on the colors of the couch. Um, I changed out the couch, I believe, to a different couch. Yeah, and there's the Christmas tree. I was going to use a different color of Christmas tree, but I really don't like the all gold one because it just looks like dead. Like it looks like a dead tree to me. And then the silver and blue one, I think they made it to like appease the people who celebrate Hanukkah, but like someone who celebrates Hanukkah, well, someone who's like fully Jewish and doesn't have like one parent who's Jewish and one parent who's Christian, they would never have a Christmas tree in their home. I've never had a Christmas tree in my entire life. So, I don't really know what that one's all about. But I mean, maybe it's for the people who are half and half. I'm not sure. Then I did this feature behind the TV with the frames, and I like gave them a wood look. And I think it's just I end up putting in drapes next to them that kind of completes it. I might put a column in. I'm not sure. I don't totally remember. I did this like a week ago. But yeah, I do like, I've never done that before with the TV, and I do like the way it ended up coming out, which, oh yeah, I did the drapes. So you'll see it finished pretty soon. But yeah, and then I was able to. One of the really exciting things for me about this room was I was able to fit one of the larger rugs, which I love the really big rugs in this game. I love the design of them, but I never build rooms that are big enough to fit the rugs. And so I think for my next build, I'm gonna do a modern build. I normally stay away from modern builds because I feel like a lot of people on YouTube do them, and a lot of people on the gallery do them, and I try and be a little bit different, but I think for my next build I might do a modern one just because I haven't done a modern build in a while, and I think it's good to like change up your style, and I really want to include those large rugs, and so I'm gonna try and remember to like build a room big enough to fit the rugs. Maybe what I'll do is I'll place the rugs first and then build the house around the rugs, which that would be interesting. I'm not sure, you'll have to stay tuned and see what I do. But yeah, I was just putting some finishing touches in the room, just some lamps, and then the presents. That pile of Christmas presents, the big pile, is like huge. And in most of the homes that I've built, that big pile like doesn't even fit. But it did fit in this house, so that was exciting. And then I gave the presents different colored wrapping paper because I feel like that's realistic, that you don't have all presents using like the same wrapping paper. Then I used the antique typewriter over the fireplace, and I have always wanted a typewriter. I think it's because I'm a writer, maybe? I don't know. But I think it'd be so cool to like use a typewriter. I've always wanted one, and I don't have one, so I like to put it in my homes in The Sims because I can pretend to have one. I attempted to go for a bit of a gallery wall here, and it ended up looking horrible. So I took out all of the photos and sized that one up and left it like that. What I should have done, because I'm starting to get really sick of the paintings in the game, what I should have done, I think, is downloaded some of those walls that have just like paintings from the gallery, because that's not custom content. Those are paintings that like a sim will paint on the easel. So instead of having your sim paint them, like if you're just building a house in build mode and don't have sims like this house, you can include those paintings and it's not custom content. And it just gives you a lot more options. You can frame them and they look really nice. So I think I should have done that with this house, but I forgot about it, so I didn't have that. Then this is the little office, this room with the parquet floors, and my idea was that it's the father's office, and then I remembered that I wanted to put some workout equipment in this house, so I put that in the office too, but when I finished the house and was like editing the footage, I realized the room upstairs that I built as like a children's playroom, I could have just made that a gym instead, but I didn't think of it. There's that light in the corner, that floor lamp. That's my favorite lamp in the game, and unfortunately there was no good spot for it in this room, so I had to get rid of it, which was really disappointing to me, but whatever. I'll just use it in another home. Then I had a lot of trouble finding curtains that I liked in this home, and those windows that came with, I believe they're from Get to Work, that are rounded at the top, there's like no curtains that really fit them very well, and I feel like they should have thought of this when they were developing the game, and like every time you make a window, make sure that there are curtains that look good with it. I think the developers probably thought that the curtains in the game looked good with it, but like the curtains in the game very rarely look good with anything, so I don't know what they value in curtains because the curtains in this game are not great. Um, Anyway, I was trying to go for a picture to include over the desk, and a lot of like the pictures, like those, like they look like very cheap like posters that you can find at like Walmart or something. But I ended up including it anyway because, it fit the space and it's not a big deal. It's just an office and it's closed off anyway. Um, and then I think I started to work on this bathroom. This bathroom is a really weird shape, and so I had some fights with it at first, just trying to fit the objects into the bathroom and make them not look ridiculous. and I tried some weird things with this counter. I don't know what I was going for there, but it didn't work out at all. That was a total failure. So then I decided to size down the bathroom. Um, and this made the back hallway that never ends up getting furnished or gets anything put in it, made that hallway bigger. But my thoughts on that hallway is that if people download this house, they can kind of do whatever they want with that space. And I think it's nice for people to, when you download a home off the gallery, to have a couple of rooms that you can personalize. I don't end up furnishing one of the bedrooms because I think when you download homes, your family sizes don't necessarily fit the size of the home that you're downloading, or like the ages and genders of your Sims might not fit like the ages and genders that the bedrooms are made for. So I think that bedrooms are one of the things that um, need to be customized the most in gameplay. So I ended up making a little girl's room and a teen boy's room, which I realize now is what I did in my most recent speed build, but I have built a couple of homes in between that I just haven't made speed builds of, and the bedrooms in those homes aren't structured that way, so I think that's why I forgot. Um, for my next speed build, well, my next speed build is going to be the Christmas starter home, and there's no children's bedrooms in that home anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I won't repeat that in the next speed build. But in my next like family home speed build, I'll try not to do teen boy and little girl. I think I fall into that trap because I have two older brothers, so my family is very much like older boy, younger girl, and that's kind of like the way my mind works when I think of families, is like the boys are older and the girls are younger. But yeah, that's not really true for everybody. I had a hard time furnishing this hallway because it's bigger than I normally have entrance halls, and it's also like a weird shape. Like there's not a lot of space near the door, but then there's a lot of empty space near the stairs. So I decided to put like a center table in there, and then I was like, well, how do I decorate this differently than the like table against the wall? So I ended up stealing the flowers and moving them to this table, and then like moving a bust over to the console table, I guess you would call it, on the back wall. I wanted to work a grandfather clock into the house, and so, because I always forget that the clocks exist, and so I managed to remember for this home, and I ended up moving it out of the corner because I couldn't find a piece that I wanted to put right next to the door, and I don't actually really like the grandfather clock there, but that's that's what ended up happening. This room isn't like it's a front entrance hall. It's not used that much anyway. Here you can see the roof cutting into my second floor, which is still frustrating to me, but I'm just leaving it and dealing with it because things don't always work out perfectly, and the roof in this house is one of those things. It also screwed up the siding when I painted the rooms because I forgot that when you have rooms that are open like that, it doesn't really recognize them very well, so then it thinks that the inside is also the outside, and so when you press shift to paint all the walls, you end up painting the outside by accident. So I fixed it. Um, and then in the master bedroom, I ended up using the most expensive bed there is, and I felt a little weird about that because I don't know, I just didn't want to make this family like really, really rich. But the home is like 180,000 simoleons. So, yeah, I mean, you have to use a fair amount of cheats to move anyone in this home anyway, and like, their bills are probably going to be pretty expensive. So, I guess it is like an expensive home. Whatever. Um, I guess that means that the bed fits. I just felt weird about using it. I don't like using the most expensive items in the game, and I don't know why. I don't like it. Um, I had a lot of issues with the rug in this room. I mean, like, I placed it fairly quickly. I just didn't feel like it like fit the space well, and there's like that weird space without a rug like by the TV. So yeah, I was stressed about that. And then I have like a little reading nook for them, and I wanted to include an ottoman at the end of the bed or underneath the TV to make it look more, I don't know, I thought it would make it look like more integrated into the room, but like that wasn't working, so I had to work in like a smaller ottoman. But it took me a little while to decide on that. Uh, I needed to put a mirror in somewhere and couldn't really find a good spot for the mirror to fit. It was a little bit frustrating for me, and I don't know why I insisted on working a mirror in, because like there's a dresser and you can change your Sim's hair by using the dresser, but I just felt like they needed a mirror. I really did want to use one of those leather chairs because I love those chairs, but it just didn't fit right in my opinion. So I didn't. And yeah, I think I was just adding a little bit of clutter, not too much. I don't like to over clutter my homes, so I didn't put too much clutter in. This was another solution that I found for those really large windows with the curved top, is if you size up one of the cheaper curtains, it actually doesn't look too bad with the window, so that's what I ended up doing there. Um, in the bathroom, I have a little separate room for the toilet. And then I wanted to work in a soaker tub and a shower, and I had trouble again just fitting everything I wanted to fit into this home into the bathroom. So I played around with the layout a few times, and then I ended up sticking with the way I originally laid it out. So yeah. Um, and then I was thinking like I wanted to have a double vanity, but like it just didn't really fit in this space. And your Sims don't use double vanities anyway, because like a lot of times if they walk into the bathroom when someone else is using it, they'll get embarrassed. But um like you don't really have an issue where both of your Sims are washing their hands at the same time in the bathroom. So you don't really ever need double vanities. I feel like it's luxurious to put in a master bathroom. But yeah, I wanted to do a similar color in the toilet room as in the bathroom itself, and so I just did like a deeper shade of teal. And then I moved on to the little girls' room, and I actually really like the way this turned out. I wanted to make it really like pink and girly, because I never really do that with my little girls' rooms, and I also wanted to make it look kind of, I don't know, like, I feel like this home has the look to it of like a home in a new subdivision in terms of the decoration. And I think that a lot of times parents get their kids like double beds who live in those types of subdivision. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. It made sense in my mind, so I went with the double bed, and then I went with that desk, which is like a writer's desk, which I just really love. I love like all the little drawers in it and like the things taped to it. It's cool. I don't think it really fits in this room, but I don't know. I like the look of it. And then I put in a dresser that doesn't completely match, but doesn't completely not match. And I think that's kind of how kids' rooms end up going, where a lot of times their furniture like doesn't necessarily completely match, because you change it out as your kid ages, and so it ends up being kind of a mix and match type process. I put those pink curtains in, and I loved them until I put the curtains on the big window, and then I felt like they didn't really go very well. So I ended up changing them, and I think now that I should have just left them, but I don't know, I jumped the gun on it. I changed it too fast. I should have just let myself think about it for a little while and then change it. I mean, I guess I did finish decorating the room and then I changed it, but like I don't know. I don't know why I did that. And yeah, I changed like the size of them too. Because all of the pinks in the room are kind of different shades of pink and they don't all really match. But whatever. I mean, I do like the way the room turned out. So then this is the boys' room, and he gets a smaller bed because boys don't need as much space, and this bedroom is smaller. And I did it kind of with like a sporty theme, but it's not like too sporty. I like that in Spa Day we got those wardrobes that are like one tile wardrobes because for like this room especially, a two tile dresser doesn't fit very well. Like it just makes the room too cramped, and so it's nice to be able to have a one tile option. I included that doctor doll, and I don't know that kids can play with it, but I thought it was like very apropos for a boys' room. I felt like it was like the type of stuffed animal or figurine that a boy might have. So I included that, and then I just gave him like a backpack and some sports equipment that, ends up lying on the ground. I had a lot of trouble finding the sports equipment because I don't really use it a lot. Um, and I don't know why, because I should use it more. I do like it, but yeah. And then I wanted to go with an orange for the room, but I couldn't find an orange that I really liked, so I settled on the first orange that I found, and it's not bad. I think it's kind of fun. I like that there's like a mix of a ton of different colors in that room. And then this room that I just painted but didn't do anything else with is the guest bedroom, and that's the one that I left customizable for whoever ends up downloading this home. They can customize it per their taste. Uh, this kid's bathroom, I was gonna make it kind of like outdated at first, and then it just looked really bad. So I end up like repainting it. I think that shower is very interesting because it comes in very dark colors, and most frequently it has like that burnt orange and blue to it, and I really just hate that color. It looks like it's a rusty shower. So I always end up using the gray if I ever use that shower, but I don't tend to use it a ton because it's expensive. Um, but yeah, I kept the bathroom just kind of like very clean, white, navy. One photo, not a whole lot going on in there. And then this is the kids' playroom that I probably should have just made into a gym, but it has two skill building objects for your child sims, and then some posters and stickers on the wall, as if the kids decorated it themselves. Um, this foyer, I love the way the foyer looks into the rooms downstairs. I am really happy that I did end up using it, even though it gave me a ton of stress. Decorating it was a challenge because I just couldn't find objects that went in there really well. So I used the garlands, even though they have that weird shadow that you sometimes get when you size up objects. Because I thought it was festive and it fit the size of the wall. And then I ended up I was trying to find like something in that corner that fit really well, and it was hard to find. So I ended up using that like oversized vase, and then just moved up that plant to make it look kind of like branches. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to be, like dead branches, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just use that. I like the way it looks. And then I can't figure out, like, when they created those little trains, there's a bunch of them, and you can create like a train set. I can't figure out where they wanted us to put them and what they wanted us to do with them because they don't fit on shelves. You need to use like a long table or a ton of coffee tables to put them on coffee tables. And I guess you could like put them on the ground as a train set on the ground, but like then you're taking up space, so you would have to have a really big room. So I don't really know why. I just don't know what those trains are for. Um, but yeah, I used it on a shelf. And then moved into the backyard. I end up changing the floor a lot on this deck. I stick with like a linoleum for a bit, and then once I'm finished, I change it to wood planks. And then I'm using the couches again from Perfect Patio Stuff, which I'm obsessed with these wicker couches. Um, because I wanted to have like a seating area and I wanted to have a dining area. And then I forgot that I had put like the bar drinks tray in the house, but I was like, they need to have a bar, and that would be like a good thing to include outside on the deck and it would take up space nicely, so I'll just put a bar out there. So now this home has technically 2 bars because it has the drink tray, although I don't think you can practice making drinks with the drink tray. So, I mean, I think the bar does serve a different purpose a little bit. Um, I mean, when I was decorating this, I was trying to keep in mind not to make it too spa day heavy, not spa day, perfect patio stuff heavy, like where every single thing came from the same pack in the same style, but I kind of did that, so whoops. But I think it looks nice. It ends up fitting the house. I oversized those flowers, even though it's winter. It totally doesn't make sense, but whatever. I love the little candle lanterns that came with Perfect Patio stuff. That's like one of my favorite objects in the game. I want one of those in real life, but I don't have one. I mean, I'd probably not use it very frequently anyway, so I don't know. But yeah, I love those. I use them in like every house now. Um, then I put in a stereo so they can dance outside. And I have like this small yard space, so I was trying to think of like family-friendly games we could have out there. So there's like that horseshoe court and a little bit of landscaping, because although I landscaped the front in build mode, I totally forgot about the backyard. So yeah, I had to finish that up when I was doing this. And again, I stuck with the green and white theme because I just feel like it's more fitting for winter. Even though like having outdoor living in the winter doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess you can do it in most places in the world. You can't really use anything outdoors in New England in the winter. Although it's supposed to be like 65 degrees on Christmas Eve, which is really upsetting to me. That's way too warm. I'm ready for snow. I want snow. Um, so yeah. And then it was just kind of basically finishing touches and, moving on to the screenshots pretty soon. But again, if you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. I do have a Christmas starter home that is under $18,000 that is coming up later this week. And, let me know if you enjoyed this home in the comments below, what you liked about it, what you'd like me to build next. I hope you all have a very happy holidays, have a safe holiday, enjoy the time with family and friends. Even if you're not Christian, I think it's always a good time to just, celebrate those people around you and reflect on life. And yeah. So here are the screenshots, and I hope you enjoyed this build. I have my gallery link below, and I will see you soon with a Christmas starter build. Thanks, bye.